What is up, you guys? Welcome back to AG University Podcast, a school of intuition, a school from the cosmos. All of my favorite dancing unicorns are gathered here today because what the heck is going on? I feel like that today has been kooky. I don't even know what to say. Not bad, just kooky. I ran into my neighbor and she was like, baby was up all night. I haven't slept. I'm kooky crazy. And I was like, the vibe of today is just kooky. So maybe I'm catching you at a kooky time. Last week I was in a really silly, goofy mood. I actually made myself laugh watching the episode back about me trying to figure out if a pink dolphin was real. I'm pretty sure I confirmed the pink dolphin was not real. The episode just went live. I typically record on Wednesdays, by the way. I always tell you guys I keep this pretty real time because I really like to teach based what's going on in my life because I feel like it's a collective energy. Like we're all going through the same seasonal shifts and changes. Some might be more on a micro scale, some might be more on a macro scale, but I do think there are themes with nature and we're all energetic beings. We're all connected energetically in some way, shape, or form. And if you're listening to my podcast and you allow me to tune into your ear holes, we are a vibrational match. Okay. So I'm really happy you're here. I'm happy that we're vibing, literally, we vibing. And today like I said, it's just kooky day. April showers bring May flowers. That's always one thing that I always channel from the Akashic Records, meaning sometimes April should be pouring rain and then the flowers come. And it's going to be beautiful and great. And I've been kind of teaching that in the last 2 episodes. If you guys haven't listened, definitely tune in there. I gave some really good tips on connecting with higher self and just other advice from, I always set a container to connect with the higher self of AG University Podcast. And I really do believe that the messages are evergreen and the energy will connect with whoever it's supposed to connect with, which is kind of how it works. It's out of my hands. I'm just doing whatever I do best and just showing up and being a clear vessel. How about that? To the best of my ability, right? To the best of all of our abilities. So today, I didn't have too much of a plan. I have a couple things that I want to talk about, but I was like, you know what? The energy's been kooky. And you guys are messaging me being like, wow, whatever I talked about, I think 2 episodes ago, was like, I really needed to hear that. Things have been like this unearthing, this shaking. It's been going on. So I figured let's tune in. So as you guys know, but I do try to speak into this podcast like someone is landing here or meeting me for the first time ever. I know you guys have all heard it. You know my spiel. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. I'm talking too fast. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner, clairvoyant medium, intuitive guide, all of the things. And I really just believe most of the work, how about this, in the Akashic Records is connecting with your higher self or my higher self to access our soul's purpose. Akashic Records is a infinite database of ancient wisdom. And love and light literally means enlightened. That just means data or knowledge, information, right? To bring us into lightness, which means like if you're sitting in the dark and someone were to turn the lights on, bada bing, we have new information that's been presented to us. So it's an infinite portal of love. Okay. And every time I channel the Akashic Records, I feel so overwhelmed with a loving, healing energy. It's just truly, it's wild, but it's a gift. And everybody can access the Akashic Records. Okay. I am not more special than you. I do think I have maybe a really strong interest in it, which is why it's really called to me. So if you're interested in it, you can always check out my How to Read the Akashic Records course. It's always linked in the bio. But if you want to just sit here, receive, and never open them yourselves, I hear you. Everything is welcome here. So I kind of have been saying mostly like I'm channeling messages from our higher selves. Akashic Records can also be known as angel readings. There's a lot of ways. For me, it's an extension of God, source, love, period. So whatever feels good to you feels good to me. How about that? So anyways, I say we all just take a little deep breath in through the nose, wherever you're at. Hold to the top. Big exhale. Give me some drama. Let it all go. It's really crazy how good it feels sometimes just to take a nice deep breath. You know, you could take a couple more. If you're driving, if you're walking, I love to feel my belly expand. I've really been loving being more intentional with breath. I did a breathwork session the other day. I posted this on the AG University podcast Instagram and I said, who's going to tell me? Who's going to tell me that y'all been out here doing drugs essentially via breathwork? Because I've done drugs before, okay? A long time ago and more in a concert rave party setting, drugs I always say I didn't have to seek professional counsel, but I was a social party girl for a minute, maybe a long minute. Anyways, so I know what drugs feel like. And breath work is, I turned into goo. I was like, I feel high. This is crazy. So it's something that I've been playing with more because I think I started off with really gentle breath work. I was almost a little scared to go deep. And it was my first time that I went really deep. And it's just really crazy. The amount of energy that we have access to in our bodies via our breath, via our mind, via our own energy. And we're really powerful beings. Okay. So you always have the power to shift your state. I just want you to know, no matter what it is that you're feeling, there is a lighter step you can take in this moment. You can just take a deep breath. It doesn't have to be drastic. You can just think some thoughts of neutrality. You can just reach for one lighter thought, one lighter iota of just something in your life. I know it's there. You can do it. And I'll hold your hand. I try not to yell at you guys, not yell, but I am always, aggressively rooting for you. How about that? That's not yelling. That's just like aggressively supporting. I'm like, I'm going to hold your hands and I'm going to tell you to get up, girl. You can do it. I believe in you. I was having one of those mornings this morning, and I was thinking, man, I'm so thankful that I have so many regulatory tools. And it makes me sad that people who are not dancing unicorns don't know about all these beautiful tools. But breath has been one that I've been exploring deeper. I've always loved breath work. I started doing it maybe over a year. And it's just really interesting how much it can change your state. And yeah, anyways, I don't know where I'm going with that, but breathwork is cool. It's dope. You should try it out sometime. I just downloaded an app. I don't have any affiliation with them. I just tried out the app is called Othership. Like I said, I did a free trial, did a couple sessions, have been playing with it. I think there's tons of free breathwork. Just look up breathwork on TikTok or YouTube. There's tons of techniques if you don't want to pay for anything. I don't even know how I must have listened to a podcast or something about it. I'm not really sure how it came into my org field, but that was the app that was on my phone. I was about to delete it because I was like, I must have downloaded it a while ago. And then I was like, oh wait, this is cool. And then I tuned in and I was like, oh, that was some turn up breath work. Okay. I turned into goo. Cool. Love it. Okay. So now that we've taken a deep breath and we all know that breath work is something I'm studying, playing with more, let's all focus on calling in our higher self. And she can be any age. She can be a wise queen. She can be anything. She can be dressed, whatever. I don't know. She can be dressed fabuloso. She could be just a naked jungle goddess. I don't care. Whatever your higher self is today. Mine changes all the time. She's always doing something. Today she's, mermaid ocean vibes because I've really been excited about being in the ocean again because it's finally warming up. But anyways, call her in. I always like to sit and hold hands with my higher self if I'm closing my eyes. You don't have to if you're driving or walking or whatever. You don't have to close your eyes, but just a practice that I like to do. And I just like to imagine that I'm being held. There is a version of me, my higher self, guardian angel, whatever you want to believe, that's always watching over me. And that is a fact, okay? That is a cold, hard fact. So you are never alone. And sometimes when I'm having days when I feel bad, I can just say, I'm going to journal with my higher self. But anyways, let's close our eyes. We're going to tune in. And I'm going to see if I have a little message from our higher self. I also opened the Akashic Records before I got on, and we're going to conjure up a little April reading. It's April 2nd as I record. It'll be out into the first week of April. So let's see what's going on. And whatever time, I just want you to know, whatever time, space, place, you might listen to this podcast 2 years from now. Whoa, that's a crazy thought. Hi, future, 2 years from now, people. This message will land perfectly. Whenever you are meant to hear it, it'll be perfect. So, alas, let's go. Okay, so this is funny. I just closed my eyes, I tuned into all of our higher selves, and the first thing that I saw, the first thing that I heard, I will tell you, is they have outgrown their environment. They have outgrown their environment. And some of the unearthing that I was feeling, do you guys remember? I'm a big Harry Potter girly. I'm secretly just a book lover, nerdy gal, but love Harry Potter. Do you guys remember when they would pull those little things out of the ground and they would scream? Were they mandrakes? Was that what they were called? I should know because I am a Harry Potter fan, but the details start getting away from me as I get into my 30s. Last time I read the books, I was, 8 or 10 years old. I think they're called that. They're these little critters for a non-Harry Potter, for a muggle. Let me explain to you. You pull these critters, these little, I think mandrakes, out of the soil, and they scream. They're like, ah! and you want to like put them back in. That was the visual that I was getting, which is really funny because I really haven't connected with my Harry Potter baddie self in a minute. But I do feel like that's a little bit more of what I've been channeling on that unearthing is like even ourselves, we are uprooting ourselves literally out of certain environments. And I want you to think, Anna Grace, what? I can't move. I can't change my environment. No, 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 no. I want you to think bigger. I want you to think your energetic environment. Okay. Your environment could also be your body. That's your home. That's your energetic skin. That's this version of you, this character that you're playing. And just like anything else, our bodies upgrade, our cells change, things are shifting and shaking and changing. And so, just as we see in the movie, the Harry Potter movie, it's a funny part. They pull these little creatures out of the ground and they scream, 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 squeal, squeal, squeal. That's how maybe you're feeling right now. Someone's plucking you out and you're like, excuse me, squeaking, because you're like, I liked it there. It was comfy. It was cozy. It was dark. I was thriving. I was growing. And your higher self is like, no, 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 girl, but you've been praying for more fertile ground. Okay. Maybe more fruit, more things to blossom, right? More abundance. And that's not even just financially. That could be abundance in relationship and friendship and partnership, maybe a husband, a wife, a partner, whoever you're looking for. You are trying, or you've been trying, how about that, to put down roots in soil that has no more nutrients left. Okay. There is no more nutrients in this soil. And we're plucking you out, and you might squeal and you might squeak for a second because you're like a fish out of water. You don't know where you are. You're disoriented. You're discombobulated. You're dizzy. Okay. You're feeling dizzy. But we promise we're going to dig you a really nice hole in this real fertile ground, and we're going to pluck you in there and you're going to plant new roots. Hear me out. These roots are going to be deeper. They're going to grow farther, wider, bigger. The message that you are here to share is going to reach farther. And there has been nothing wrong. There has been nothing wrong that you have done at this point. It's just that your roots capped. Okay. I want you to think you're a plant in a pot. At some point, all the soil, all the nutrients, everything is gone. You've maxed. You're at. There's a glass ceiling at that point. You've got to allow this discombobulation, what is you being pulled out of the soil, squealing because the sun is blinding you and you liked it and you're cozy. The light is beaming on all of these areas of your life. You weren't ready to look, but you were yanked out by your head anyways. I really hope you guys know this reference from Harry Potter, or else I might really lose you. But come on, y'all. If not, catch me on TikTok or YouTube. I'll show a little clip. But anyways, you're being blinded by this sunshine, by this light that is evoking change. Okay. There is change that is coming. And that's why I was saying earlier, let's go back to, you have done nothing wrong. If you're in a situation that you're like, man, how did I get here? Or like, I'm a little bummed or a little sad that this is taking longer than I thought, or maybe I haven't experienced as much progress. Listen, your roots were tapped. Okay. You were needing a new environment, new soil. And for some people, that can be a new physical environment. You could be moving, you could be traveling. A trip is a great activator. Sometimes that's why feng shui is so important. Just rearrange the furniture of your room. Newness is coming. And honestly, I don't even really feel like you have to do that much. If you feel called to those things, great. But I'm just saying that your environment is about to greatly shift. And that is another reason for this intense uprooting where you're like, whoa, well, damn, could you have warned me before you just yanked me out of my cozy little cocoon? Okay. Because sometimes I feel like life be lifing like that. Okay. Sometimes she's jarring and you really are humbled and reminded that, you know what? I am just on this little roller coaster ride. Okay. So that is a source of frustration. That's kind of the energy that I've been feeling for everybody, is like, oh, I'm just frustrated because I've kind of got this, I'm ready, but also I'm rerouting. And the stronger that your roots can grow. Okay. This is you getting plucked and putting into a new environment. It's happening. You don't have to really do anything. It's happening. It's happening. It's there. Okay. You're going to be dug in this little cozy hole, and then you got to reattach into your new environment. Okay. So your hyper fixation focus right now is, if I am being up leveled, okay, into this new energetic environment, this new quantum reality, this new, my body's turning over, this new, whatever, new job, new something new. all that you can do, your hyperfixation is how much more can I ground into this moment? Because you're a little baby mandrake, okay? You're a little baby plant with new fertile soil, and you want those roots to anchor in, because the more anchored in that you are, the taller you can grow, the more fruit that can grow on this little plant, the wider the messages can go. Okay. You're taking up space because you have this very, very strong foundation. And is your that's all I want you to think about this week. I want you everything to be a mental inventory of how much more can I ground into this moment. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, it's very easy. You're making it too hard. Okay. It's very easy. Grounding into a moment can just be putting your phone down, putting it face down. Don't look at it. It's a distraction. It's a trap. It's a trick. I fall into it constantly. I'm also addicted to my phone, but I really do make a conscious effort to say, I'm going to the beach, phone not coming with me. And I literally will sit on the ground anywhere. You can also do this at your office desk. It doesn't have to be the beach. Sit, and I literally watch roots growing, like connecting deep into the earth's core. I am so grounded. I am so safe. I am so protected in this exact moment. I am so present with myself. I am connecting with my body. I am dropping into my body. I want this to be like a real life active meditation with you guys, just like kind of saying these things, putting your hand over your heart and hand over your belly button. If you go into a crowded space and it's throwing off your energy, or at your office, put your hand over your belly button. Okay. That's one place to signal to your body that, like, I am separating myself from this chaotic energy around me. I am reclaiming my energy as mine. And I'm just having a moment where I'm checking in and recalibrating and coming back into my center, which is me. Another thing I always say, repeating your name. I am Anna Grace Newell. That is one of the most grounding statements you can say, because that's your name. That's your truth. Your name is special. Your name is connected to your soul's purpose. Your name has an energetic signature and frequency. And just reminding yourself, like, I am Anna Grace Newell. I'm having a human experience. I'm connecting into my body. Sometimes when we get so disassociated, that's when we're like lost in daydream land, and like we're scrolling, and next thing you know, an hour's passed and you don't even know like what you were doing, or you drove somewhere and don't remember how you got there. That's okay. Again, we all have those moments, but it is a little bit of a disassociation. So this season for you is to be so grounded, because as we know, those April showers are coming, my dear, coming. Okay. Raining down on you. You're going to be getting watered and nurtured. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be like hard, heavy, life is pooping and raining on you. No, the rain is not always bad. The rain brings information. Okay. The rain, water is a conduit. Water brings information into our life, into our body. Water is feeding our plants so they can grow. Without them, right, they would die. They would shrivel up and die. We are not shriveling, okay? We are rooting. We are rerouting so that we can spread our message far and wide. And so just sit with all of this right now and let yourself know exactly where I am at this point, even if maybe I'm disappointed or frustrated. The word that I feel like is just like feeling just kind of a group frustration. And oftentimes I feel frustrated too. I mean, it's hard not to be when you have all these big dreams and goals and you want them now. And that's how it is, because we live on a planet where we're not, manifesting at light speed. It's not supposed to be that way. We're supposed to be enjoying our human lives, period. Yes, I love that we all have goals and we're goal oriented, and I'm a goal girly. But the checkpoint is releasing the frustration and going, you know what? All I can do right now is ground into this new little cozy, fertile soil, get these roots settled, take a deep breath. Every time I catch myself out of the present moment, I literally just will come back and say something like, I am thankful for this present moment. It's very simple. That's grounding. Okay. That's connecting with your body. Other things that are really grounding is connecting with your body is going on a walk without your phone, really trying to get that device just out for just a few minutes, doing movement, dropping into the body, dancing again, we're the dancing unicorns, having a moment of dance or just very gentle movement, even if it's weight training. That's just connecting with your body, but not doing it to the point where you're like listening to 3 podcasts and Spotify. Like sometimes when I'm lifting weights, I really try to focus on that exact muscle, like have some mind body connection instead of just disassociating and like scrolling, while we're doing all this. I'm like, no, I'm tuning in, I'm connecting. So there's tons of ways. There's also grounding foods, which is, foods that grow on the ground. Potatoes, carrots, things that are underground, those also carry the frequency of grounded energy. So I know I've taught lots of this before. And if you're feeling like you just want someone to hold your hand, I have a free grounding meditation, by the way. It's always linked in the show notes. It's totally free. And it'll just be sent to your email, and it won't be added to any weird sales funnel. It is what it is. It's just a little gift. So if you would like a grounding meditation, you could do with me every day. But it's very simple, because I want you guys to know, if you can focus so much so right now on regulating yourself, that is your superpower. Moving slowly, not rushing into situations, relationships, friendships with people, you will be an unstoppable force. You will be, my favorite word right now, unfuckwitable. Is that right? Unfuckwithable. Unfuckwithable? It's in a TikTok trend that I saw. Unfuckwitable is actually, I think, how I saw it on TikTok. Couldn't spell that for you on the exact, but you know what I'm trying to say. So that's what I want for me, for you, and for everyone in your life. And if you can just get so grounded, so regulated, that you don't have to give anybody in a mass emotional response, right? Whenever someone is trying to taunt you with a heightened, basically trying to probe you, they're wanting you to give them, it's like, think about like an internet troll. They're like saying, they're like, your hair's stupid. And you're like, me, right? Someone's just poking you. Okay. This could be a passive aggressive person at work, someone in your life, could be a family member, whatever. I was just listening to something the other day that said, subconsciously, people feel important when you give them that emotional response. When you're like, hey, listen, my hair's not stupid, blah, 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 blah. They feel important. You're feeding some part of their ego, even though it's annoying and silly, and you're like, my hair is not stupid. But it makes them feel important. And so that's the lesson. You're going to start starving all of those forces. Okay. Anything in your life that is not feeding the highest version of you, this new cozy little cocoon that you're being planted in, you're starving it. That's my favorite thing to handle any situation in my life that does not deserve my value, my essence, my juicy feminine goodness. Okay. Whatever that looks like for you, you know who deserves it and who doesn't. We are starving. And that's not ghosting someone or something. That could even be a pesky thought loop in your head that's like, but I used to do it like this, and in the past it was like that, and now I'm sad. I'm sad because I da 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 da. It's over. Okay. Starve it. The thought loop, it just wants your attention. Starve it. Starve it. Whatever it is in your life that's not feeding the highest, happiest, healthiest version of you, starve it. Let it starve. It will go away. I'm using my hands right now on YouTube, if you guys are catching me. Starve it. Zap it. If it's a thought loop, a person, a thing, I don't know, whatever in your life that's draining you, starve it. Okay? Anyways, that's another one of my favorite just feminine principles. I've actually been following this girl on TikTok. Is how I found her. Her name is Margarita Navarenko. I hope I said that right. I can't remember. I think that's pretty close. I'll link her. She's someone that I'm really manifesting to get on the podcast. Like I said, I don't have a ton of interviews lined up. I'm doing a bit more readings and a couple evergreen lessons that are coming. So get excited. Also, she's really blown up huge on TikTok and YouTube. And so I don't know if she's doing a lot of interviews, but we can all manifest together. And she is so in her power and her feminine essence of teaching anxious energy versus avoidant energy. And I feel like that is something that just really speaks to me. Not even so much, I mean, obviously in my marriage, you have attachment issues that come up because that's just like based off of how you were raised. If this is the first time that you were listening to attachment, essentially your initial relationship for whoever your primary caregiver was, whether it was your mom, your dad, your grandma, anyone in your life, that's going to shape your attachment style as you enter an adult, or maybe your first romantic relationship, first real heartbreak. I was talking to one of my girlfriends the other day about, we were all talking about our boyfriend when we were 17, just like that very like vulnerable, talk about the most anxious attachment version of ourselves. Woof. Just so like at their beck and call, just like, love me, love me, love me. I'm cute. Me, kiss, kiss, kiss. And it's just such a vulnerable state. We were all talking about how you're like, wow, that really does shape the trajectory of your life. Like everyone knows that first heartbreak that just really, you look back and you're like, oh, I want to cringe and shrivel away. Because I was just kind of pathetic. I had no idea. And you know what? We didn't know what we didn't know. And there are still things that I'm learning every single day. And that's why one of those higher self messages that I was just kind of channeling with us and just continuing into this conversation about like starving some of these things that just really don't deserve. Like you're such a special creature, and moving slow, that's being in your power, not giving people an immediate response. Like, yeah, of course I do that for you. No, I'll think about it. It's like, okay, we don't have to give everybody. Women, we just love to overgive. And that's something that when we're in this phase, like we said, with April showers, we're getting grounded, we're getting juicy, we're getting rooted so that we can bloom brighter, bigger, wider, farther. We're kind of starving some of these other things that are trying to take our precious little nutrients from our soil. Okay, we need the soil. Girl, we're all girls got to eat out here. Okay, so really been into gardening lately too. These I just learned that mint is a really aggressive plant. You don't want to plant it with other herbs because it will the roots will get really competitive with nutrients and then kill your other herbs. I learned that because I was planting some rosemary and thyme. But that's how I feel about some of these things in our life, right? The roots get aggressive and they're taking from your nutrients and your soil, and you're like, get out of here, get in your own pot, mint, get over there. Okay, that's my gardening metaphor. But anyways, I really like obviously nature is such a good teacher, but going back to my girl, Margarita, I'll link her stuff because I think it's really interesting about coming back into your own essence and cutting off a lot of these tendencies of whether it's people pleasing, anxious attachment, ways we're over giving, over committing. And it's really bringing us back into equilibrium, because that's what nature's trying to teach us. Like, we need enough soil, nutrients, water for ourselves so that we can grow tall and strong. We can't be watering everyone else around us and giving them all of our nutrients and then expecting to be a beautiful flower. We're going to be just a deadbeat, crusty looking flower that's angry and wilted. Okay. Like, we don't want that. I want us to come back into center. And so that's where she was teaching one thing that's like all about the more regulated that you are and the less of an emotional reaction that you can give to people. This is not saying that you're going to bypass whatever emotion. Say someone makes you mad. Fair. Take it to your room, scream into your pillow, have a moment, blast them in your journal, do whatever you got to do. Okay. But, and especially when it comes to partnership or someone you're dating, you don't want to constantly be this missile that's about to explode on them, right? Because subconsciously people are usually trying to test our boundaries, and we don't want to be giving them these explosive reactions, because at the end of the day, people don't really feel safe in those types of situations. And so there will continue to be these patterns of anxious energy, anxious, coming in your face, love me, what's wrong, reassure me, blah, 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 blah. And then the person who might even be a securely attached person starts to lean out. Like, think about somebody breathing their hot breath in your face, and you start taking a beat back because you're like, breathing hot air in my face. I got to lean back. And that's the avoidant energy that's coming into play, which is a very common avoidant energy, and anxiously attached energy often are like magnets to each other, because it's an energy. I don't like to say that's compatible. That's not the way, but you know what I'm saying? How magnets work. It's not like repelling each other. It's like they're going to be kind of feeding each other if you're completely unchecked or unaware that you are breathing your hot breath into someone's face, saying like, what, did I do something? That's the energy of like dysregulation, right? Because you're needing them to validate you, to soothe you. Whereas we all know this is coming from something else in our life, maybe a previous exchange relationship partner. And it's just showing up as something that we need to work on, right? Getting deeply rooted. And when we reach out to people or have exchanges with people, we want to be rooted in our essence of being secure, being okay if they respond, if they don't respond, if it's this, if it's that, just being okay no matter what. That has to be your baseline. Being okay no matter what sounds very cliche, cheesy, overused, but you have to. And she even talks about this really in marriage. Like, you don't want to just be all up in your person's face all the time, 24/7. If they do something to upset you, you're immediately blasting them. Like, that's not really that's not really fair either. And I'm not saying, again, we're not emotionally avoiding issues, but really, 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 really getting rooted in ourselves, taking a beat, taking a step back to process. And we are not giving people these emotionally reactive, emotionally explosive responses, because that continues to perpetuate avoidant energy, because they think, oh no, I'm not safe. This person is giving me this really explosive, chaotic energy. And I'm guilty of doing that. Like, let me tell you, okay, I definitely, I've said this in the last episode, I feel very securely attached because I've just learned so much about this and I'm very familiar. It's very easy to correct. It's very hard when you just don't know about anxious and avoidant energy, because it's very present. Once you open your eyes to it, you're like, oh, I see how these dynamics are working. Like, think about a friend that's just like constantly wanting to like FaceTime all the time, call you all the time, just like constantly needing you is what it is. And you're like, girl, are you good? What's going on? Even if you're securely attached to that friendship, you might feel a little avoidant because you're like, I can't really match this energy right now. Like, I'm in the middle of like a 50-point bullet point to-do list at work. Like, I can't talk on the phone all day, every day. You know what I mean? So you'll see the dynamics of which, and that energy shifts and changes all the time. But going back to even in marriage, I feel very securely attached because Austin is a secure partner. But if we were to pick a previous way, or a way that we swing when things get really heightened, or there is a miscommunication, or like things are out of balance, I could go anxious, and Austin definitely can go avoidant. Because I remember back before we both read the book Attached, me and Austin, right when we got engaged, we read the book Attached together and like talked about it. Really great book for you and your partner to read. It's pretty repetitive. If you just read like a few scenarios, it makes perfect sense. And it was very interesting because it was a lot of things that we would argue about. Like, we didn't understand essentially how different it was to live in each other's brain. Like, oh, that's why I say this, because sometimes I'm feeling anxious, and then when I feel more anxious, it makes you feel more avoidant. And like, and then you start to realize like, it's just a little cycle. Okay, we're going to come back to center. We're going to recalibrate. And one of the best things that I've done really recently, because even sometimes if something happened or there's miscommunication and I didn't like it, or I would get like heated, because like, y'all know I've got some fire to me. Okay, like I definitely am cute and cuddly. I'm like a Sour Patch Kid. What is it? First they're cute, then they're sour or something. First they're sweet, then they're sour. I have moments where I can be pretty feisty, and Austin, that man is even as he is even. That's the only word I can say. He is level. I am definitely the one that brings a little heat, a little flavor, okay, a little spice. But a practice, even this morning, I had a moment where I was like, didn't love that. Didn't really like love that whole situation that I was a part of. It wasn't really Austin's fault. It was just kind of a weird spot. And I was like, I'm not going to give any type of reaction. It's no one's fault. I'm looking to soothe myself, and I'm looking for someone else to put blame on, or to soothe me, or to make me feel better. And I'm going to be a big girl, and I'm going to do what I know. Okay. Put on my little music, go on a walk, go to the gym, do all these things, whatever it is for you. It literally takes 5 minutes. Seriously. It's not like you have to go on a 60-minute journey. You can leave the office and take a lap around the building and say, you know what? I'm not going to punch that coworker in the face today. I'm not going to do that today. But process and regulate on yourself, and then reapproach. You really will become the most magnetic version of yourself, because you are not giving people these explosive reactions. One, sometimes people are probing you for it, right? We're not going to let them feel that important. Okay. They're not going to they're not going to, what am I trying to say? They're not going to get us. What's the thing when they say like, get your goat? That's not the saying. I'm always botching a cliche, but you know what You know what I'm trying to get at. Those are for people that are also not as important in your life. Now, the people that are important in your life, you do want to be a regulated. The more calm that you can be, people respond better to positive reinforcement, better than criticism. And you can turn this around and make this a really constructive, positive situation. Even if someone does something, say you're dating or whatever in partnership, you could be in a long-term marriage. You can make it really positive and say, you know what? I believe in you. I know that you are an amazing partner. That's why, maybe I was a little thrown off for a minute, and then I processed it and I recognize that that's something that, I'm feeling anxious about, like, taking ownership, like I'm feeling anxious and I'm needing to be soothed. And like, this is just how I'm experiencing. We're not like blaming, you're such a stinky trash can loser partner, you make me feel bad about myself. No, because we all know now at this point, like, we're going to be accountability queens. Okay. So that's why this is like a really hodgepodge, jumbly avoidant attachment / anxious attachment. But I do really, really, really try to give everybody in my life, including my husband, because sometimes the people closest to us, they get the wrath the worst. Okay. My mom, that woman knows how to push all my buttons because she planted all the buttons. Okay. She also has the same buttons because we are the same in a lot of ways. And so sometimes the people closest to us can get the wrath. And that's always when we're really tested. But the more that you can just move slower, create a little space, ground into you. It does not mean you neglect the fact that whatever they're saying could be wackadoodle dandy. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying you're right and they're not wrong. And then no one's wrong. No one's right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Take a step back, ground, do your grounding meditation with me. I'm going to link it in the show notes. You will be shocked at how unfuckwittable you can become. Okay. If you just create a little space and go a little slower and don't throw yourself into situations so fastly, your roots, your little plant is going to grow tall, sky high, and you're going to be reaching all the people that you have been praying for, all the people that you want to reach, the new friends, the new family, the new colleagues, whatever you want. It's yours. It's already yours. Regulate yourself. Do whatever you can at all cost to regulate yourself. I want you to fight so hard for your nervous system and just think, you know what? I'm not going to throw myself into those old patterns or old situations where I get myself all riled up. I'm just going to sit for a second, be alone for a second, sit in your car for a second, just gather, take a deep breath. It's really amazing how much we can flip the script and change the narrative when we shift our focus into grounding and rooting into our most authentic version of self, which you always have access to. And I think that's a fun little higher self message that came through. LOL at the mandrake reference. I don't know. That's just what I saw. And that's really on brand for me because I've always wanted AG University to basically be Hogwarts. And I've said this once and I'll say it again, but I was absolutely devastated when my letter never came from Hogwarts because I've known I was a wizard my whole life. So you could understand how that was a letdown, but I am really happy that I can continue to create this magical space for us here. And just know that you're being uplifted, you're being uprooted, and you're being put into a new space so that your roots can grow deeper and wider. And when it rains, just know the rain, it's not all bad. It's good. Rain brings information. Rain cleanses our auric field. Go out and stand in the rain. Okay. We're always trying to avoid the rain. We can't avoid the rain. Sometimes it brings good stuff like water to water our plants. We need the rain. So just know this April shower is going to bring your brightest, your fluffiest, your most colorful May flowers. And I am so excited for you. And all I want you to do is continue. Check back in with you, regulate, take a deep breath, say your name, say your mantra, ground with me. Every single time you catch yourself disassociating or just wiling out, listen, me too. Just take a break. That's all you have to do. Just create a little bit of space and move a little bit slower. It is crazy how much power is in slowness. When you go on a date, if you talk slow, if you move slow, you're automatically just evoking this magnetic, confident energy, right? We don't want to be the yippee, golden retriever. That's like the big trend, golden retriever energy versus black cat energy, which I definitely can sometimes exude golden energy retriever. But in terms of, dating or even marriage, you don't want to be the person that's like, they run in the door and you're like licking the inside of their mouth, right? Sometimes people just need like a little, sometimes people do like a little black cat, a little mysterious, a little moving slow, right? We can do both. We can play in all areas. And it's good to, just try on different personas and say, like, how would it feel for me to not immediately give everybody my everything and to be licking the inside of their mouth, right? Whether it's, I'm not just talking your spouse, but just everyone in your life. You don't have to give them all of you off the bat. You don't have to overshare. You don't have to overgive. You don't have to overextend. You are worthy of love as you are right now in this moment. Okay. So that's why I always think those little TikTok trendy words like black cat energy and golden retriever energy, all those things are fun to just think about, because sometimes you really can personify and you're like, oh yeah, I maybe was doing that. Maybe overgiving, maybe smothering someone. I've talked about this on previous podcasts, but it's the same thing. Like, you don't want to mother and smother. Okay. We're not mothering and we're not smothering unless it is your own child. You're allowed, granted. But I do not mother my husband. I do not nag him. If he is going to do something, there are other ways to ask for things nicely, or to say, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I'd really love some support, versus the house is always a mess and the kitchen is always a mess. Right? We're not mothering and smothering, because nobody, unfortunately, actually not unfortunately, I don't know what to say that, but no one wants to fuck their mother. That's why we don't want to mother and smother our partner. Okay. When it comes to children, we can mother them because we are their mother, and our pets and our fur babies and our plants. Okay. I'm a plant mom. We can mother them and love them. But those are just a couple of places that I'm playing in feminine energy. And this was just kind of a little higher self ramble chat. I hope that you got some takeaway or some insights on how you can recalibrate and be so excited for this new cozy, fertile soil, this new environment that you're being placed in. It's going to be epic. And you're showing up as a more magnetic version of self. I love you guys. Thanks for coming to class. Take notes, share with a friend, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Love you. Bye. As always, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you feel so called, or if it feels aligned, I would love for you to leave me a review here. I always love reading your beautiful thoughts and messages. And also, you can find me at Anna Grace Newell on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I will link all of my courses, AG University course curriculum, in the show notes, along with, if you're interested in booking an Akashic Records reading with me, my scheduling link goes out in my newsletter. It goes out once a month and it's completely free. I would love to have you there. As always, I'm a proud professor, and you get an A+ for making it all the way through the end. Love you.